Hello and welcome everyone. I am so excited to be here with you today talking about esports and the USAEL.
I'm almost dead. He's right here. He's right here. I need some help over here. Anybody?
On your left.
Bro, keep up.
You're the slowpoke, not me.
Funny how girls always have to save the boys.
No way.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, enough chit chat. We got a game to win.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, I am super excited to be here. And just so you know, I have my chat window open. So if you have questions throughout, please feel free to throw those questions in the chat and I will address them as soon as I can. So welcome again. I am Katrina Adkins, Vice President of the United States Academic Esports League. And a little about me, I am a mom of two gamers. I actually have a 19-year-old son and a 17-year-old daughter. Both are gamers. And so I've been kind of living the mom gaming life for a number of years. I've also been an educator for over 20 years. In fact, I still teach college. I teach gaming and esports for a few different colleges. But a little over 20 years ago, I started teaching kindergarten. And honestly, I thought that's what I was going to do forever. But that quickly turned into educational technology, teaching, first grade, third grade, K-5 computers, 6th through 9th computer science, 9 through 12 computer science. And of course, now teaching college. So very excited again to be here with all of you and see all these educators as well on the attendee list. So I have that open as well. See a lot of familiar names. I put down some of my just passions here with some hashtags. So EdTech, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, CTE, career and technical education, and as you could guess, esports. So I want to start us off with a poll. So I'm going to launch this for you and you should see some questions pop up on your screen. And I'm going to give you a few minutes to answer these questions. The first one, this will actually give me an idea and maybe be able to tailor some of our discussion throughout to you. So our first question, who has students that are obsessed with gaming? And the second question, what is your student's favorite game? So give you a couple minutes to answer that, and then I will be sharing these results. And again, if you have answered the question, have any questions besides these throughout, you can put those into the chat. I am monitoring that throughout. So, okay, a couple more seconds and we will see what we have here. I'll end this in about 5 seconds here. We only have, let's see, 8 of our 15 on our call participating. So if you haven't submitted yet, go ahead and submit. And we'll look at these results. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll now. And let's look at these results. So 100% of you have students who are obsessed with gaming. I am not surprised at all. What is your student's favorite game? Oh, we've got a mix: Overwatch, Fortnite, Rocket League, Minecraft. There's somebody said other, so that could be anything, maybe Super Smash or another game. And we have an I don't know, and that's okay, because I bet some of you here are new to esports, and that is okay, because we are going to be learning what esports is, as well as what is this thing called the USAEL. So let's move on into a little bit about what esports is, because a lot of people aren't aware that gaming actually started way back in the 1960s. There were several games that started very early on, and I have an example of one of them. This was more 1970s, but this is an example of a game that a lot of people played. Now, I'm going to give you a challenge here. In the chat, who can guess what this game is? And I won't out you. I won't, because this will tell your age if you get it right. So, so in the chat, what do you think? Oh, we have somebody here that got it right. Very good, Jason. This is Space Invaders. Absolutely. So this was one of the very early games, and Space Invaders came about, it was an arcade game, and, people of all ages would come about and, play Space Invaders. So it did start very early on, and they even started to become kind of competitive in some of these games that were out there. Now, the prizing for the games might be something like, a free magazine or something small, nothing like the prizing that we see today. But we're going to move throughout, this kind of timeline and see how esports has developed and changed over the years. So as we move past the 1960s and 70s and into the 1980s, there was this movie that, and I'm outing myself on age. There was this movie that I was just obsessed with in the 1980s. This movie came out, it had Fred Savage in it, and these kids all got together, traveled around the country to ultimately compete in Super Mario Brothers 3. And so they would go to all these arcades, and obviously in the 80s, you had to go in person. It didn't exist like it does now with the internet and all these ways to game and compete with one another. So again, I am going to challenge you. What was the name of this movie? Does anyone know? Who's this Jason? Jason got it right again. This is The Wizard. If you have not seen this movie, it is absolutely incredible. I absolutely highly recommend watching it. I should have checked to see if it was on Netflix or something, but if it's not, go searching for it tonight and sit down and watch it. It's just a fantastic movie. And it also has the Power Glove from the 1980s. So it's pretty cool. So as we move into the 1990s, this is where things really start to get interesting because, now we have internet connection, right? So we're moving into something called, LAN parties, and students would get together, or people would get together. But, the size of the computers were very different than what we have now. The portability was very different, again, than what we have now. And so you would see people putting their computers into wheelbarrows and bringing them into these LAN parties to compete against one another. And so this kind of, was 1990s and really the way of the world in terms of gaming as it was then. So what is esports? What is it now? What does it look like? What are we doing in schools to bring this forward to students? But I'm going to actually ask you a different question. What is esports not? Because one of the challenging things in our schools today is this misconception that esports is this, thing that kids do, and they go down in their parents' basement and they turn on games and they eat junk food, and it's not good for them. It's not good for their eyes. And really, this is the furthest from the truth, because there are so many great things that esports brings to students, and we're going to explore that during our time together today. So to me, esports is endurance, self-esteem, problem solving, objectives, relationships, teamwork, and stamina. And those are some words that I came up with to describe what esports is and what I'm seeing around our country in terms of, and really around the world in terms of what esports is bringing to students in schools. But, in shorter terms, it's short for electronic sports. So that's where we get that term esports. Did you know that the games market overall growth towards 2025 is nearly 3.2 billion people playing games? And that is like just this last year. They're spending a combined total of $196.8 billion. And our forecast shows that the market will continue to grow in the following years. What this tells me, and what this probably should tell you as educators, is that this is something we can't ignore. It's here. Our students are playing. We can't ignore this. And it's something that we can bring into schools in a very positive way. So if we break down the 2022 global game revenue per segment, the primary driver of the market growth across the world is mobile. So mobile gaming, which will generate revenues of $103.5 billion this year. And when we look over at viewership, so those who are watching games being played, esports has the second highest viewership in the world. Who do you think has the first highest viewership? What sport do you think is the first? Got my Q&A open. I'm watching. What do you think is the first? I see some answers coming in, and we again have the correct answer. Oh, we've got the correct answer from several. Steve Magazzini. Yes, the NFL has the first highest viewership, followed by esports. Can you believe that? So in particular, if we look at, we kind of tear apart this sports versus esports, we've got the NFL at number one, so with 124 million viewers. But look at what's number two with 58 million viewers, League of Legends. Then we've got 38 million with Major League Baseball. Then we've got 32 million with the NBA and 11 million with hockey. So this may be some new information to you, but this tells you the level of growth that is happening in esports and how exciting this really is. Digital viewership for other esports tournaments also surpasses the NFL's Thursday Night Football opening games. So you can take a look at what is happening in terms of our viewerships, what games are being played, and then what's happening with Thursday Night Football. As you see, that kind of goes down. So we've got more viewers in some of these games that are happening. So did you know that just a few years ago, esports was actually on the cover of Sports Illustrated? I mean, this is huge. This is such great news for all those gamers out there, for all of our students that are wanting to get into gaming, wanting to bring esports to their schools. This is absolutely huge and tells you how big this is. If we look at the global player forecast from 2015 up until 2024, so going into next year, you can see how much growth is happening. You see it go from 2015 with that 2.3 billion all the way up. We've added another billion viewers or players. Absolutely incredible. So that's the gaming side of things, but there is more to esports than just the games. And that's where the USAEL comes in. So let's look at what the USAEL is, because I know that's why most of you are here today. What is this thing? What is happening? And the USAEL to me is absolutely the answer to everything that is going on in K-12 esports right now, and you're going to see why. So with the USAEL, we have three pillars: curriculum, careers, and competition. So when I said that there's more than just the game, you can see with careers, curriculum, and competition, there are other avenues to esports than just that tournament side, just the play side. So the big question is, with so many of these leagues popping up, why would you come to the USAEL? Why us? And I think we have a very, very special reason. Besides all the amazing things that we provide within the USAEL, one of the things that is so near and dear to my heart is that we're all educators. In fact, when I was looking at the USAEL, I talked with our CEO, who was one of California's Teachers of the Year, and he left the classroom to develop everything that you're seeing here. And so I knew that I was in good hands coming over to the USAEL, because these are people that understand students. They understand schools. They understand administration and what is going on in the classroom and how to truly support teachers and students with esports. So what is a part of this? So first of all, with the USAEL, there's no Discord. If you're familiar with Discord, then you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, Discord is a way that students communicate behind the scenes while they're playing games. And this brings about major concerns in schools, especially K-12, with security. And the fact that we have our own internal way to communicate with one another in our tournament platform, there is no need for Discord. This really makes a lot of IT directors happy because they don't have to worry about that security and safety of students. It's also sustainable and scalable, and we're going to talk more about that throughout. But one of the things that I definitely see happening around our country is I see a lot of these esports programs or clubs, leagues popping up in schools. And the story is that, you know, this esports coach comes in, starts this amazing team within their school, everything's great, and then that teacher leaves. And who loses out? The students. And so one of the things that I'm very passionate about with the USAEL is making sure that it is sustainable and scalable for schools, so that if a teacher happens to leave and moves, which isn't a bad thing, but if something happens, our students can continue on the very next day. And it's also budget friendly. So a little bit of history. I want to make sure that you understand what the USAEL is and how it came about, because our parent company is something called Mastery Coding. And I highly encourage you to look it up, because if you are interested at all in computer science, coding, anything in those areas, you will love what Mastery Coding has to offer. So they are our parent company. And remember, I told you about our CEO. Our CEO was the previous California Teacher of the Year. He's actually written over 22 books. He is absolutely fabulous, and developed Mastery Coding. Within Mastery Coding, the curriculum aligns with grades 3 through 12. So there's offerings for elementary, middle, and high school. But within Mastery Coding, there were also these esports offerings and this phenomenal esports curriculum that was so wildly popular that the leadership got together and said, you know, we've got something here. What if we get together with a tournament platform and put together a league of our own? So they got together with a company called Rally Cry. Now, if you're not familiar with Rally Cry, the creator of Rally Cry, just so you know, created a company in 2010 called TESPA. TESPA was so wildly popular that so many colleges hopped onto the platform. And guess who bought TESPA? Blizzard. So the creator of TESPA hopped over to Blizzard for a number of years, and then ended up leaving Blizzard to actually develop Rally Cry. So with Rally Cry, they are very experienced with students. So that was a way that our leadership knew this was going to be something really, really great. And we're going to dig into the platform in just a minute, you know, besides just the no Discord and all those things, but why this is a platform you can really trust in your school for your students to compete on. So Mastery Coding came together, Rally Cry came together, and here we have the USAEL. So that brings together those three pillars that I told you about, that curriculum, careers, and all the opportunities that are involved with the USAEL. So as the two companies came together, we work with many school districts, game publishers, and universities across the US. In fact, you can see some of these examples here in the columns with K-12, college, and industry. And we see some really big names that we work with, and very proud to be a part of this journey with the USAEL, as well as Rally Cry and Mastery Coding. So we know across academics, esports is absolutely exploding. So if you haven't started a program yet, that is okay. And we are definitely here to help you get started. So what is our approach? What's going on in the USAEL? We take and channel students' passion for gaming and technology, and we turn it into career and college opportunities. Obviously, that's what we want for students. That's why we're educators. We want them to be successful. So we take that passion, we build their curiosity. We work with them with curriculum, we educate them. They can ultimately earn certifications in various areas, and then hopefully move into a career either after high school, or if they want to go on to college, that's great too, whatever their choice may be. But we help them with wherever they're at, go into whatever they may be interested in. So When we look at careers in esports, there are so many careers. These are just a few examples. And one of the reasons that I love this particular image so much, this graphic so much, is because this allows our students to go beyond what some of the traditional offerings are in school. So if you know a student that is interested in, graphic design, interested in maybe becoming a broadcaster, esports might be for them. In fact, teaching over 20 years, I know so many students that didn't really fall into a group. They didn't fall into traditional sports. They didn't fall into the arts. And really, they didn't have anywhere that they felt like they belonged. And those students really have found their place in esports. I've talked to dozens and dozens of students across the world that esports is where they feel they belong. So this gives them that opportunity to go beyond the game and start to think, what can I do with esports after I graduate high school? And the USAEL helps channel the students' passion to move into some of these careers that you see here. So what's included in the USAEL? Because there is a lot. So in terms of curriculum, we have all of these things that you see here on the left, and we're going to go into more detail about these in just a moment. In terms of careers, you'll see these here. And in terms of the competition or the tournaments, we have all different kinds of options for you and for your students. But I want to go into a little bit more detail about these three pillars that I just showed you. And again, I just want to remind you, if you have questions throughout, please feel free to throw those in the chat, to throw those in Q&A, and I will get to those as soon as I'm able to see those or at the end of our webinar. All right, so let's look at the curriculum. This is the part, of course, as an educator that I absolutely love and that I think is absolutely essential to any sustainable and scalable esports program in a K-12 school. So what's in it? First of all, we have our career explorations course. This is a 45-hour project-based learning curriculum, and it's set to introduce students to a host of career opportunities inside of the esports industry. 45 hours. That is a lot of information for students. We also have our Pathway Esports Coaches Toolkit. So remember when I told you the story that if you have an esports coach that maybe leaves or goes to another school and the esports program dissolves, the Pathway Esports Coaches Toolkit can prevent that from happening. Another educator, even a facilitator, somebody who is not experienced at all in esports can take over. They can start a club. They can start a program at the school with the Pathway Esports Coaches Toolkit. It will teach them how to start a team, how to run a team, how to compete with a team, including everything a coach, whether you're new or experienced, needs to be successful. This is huge. Our curriculum also includes the Intro to Game Development. This is a 30-hour standards-based curriculum where students discover how games are made and they learn to code their very own game. So remember those students, those career opportunities. If you have students that are interested in developing games, maybe designers, this is definitely for them. All of the lesson plans in the curriculum are wrapped around SEL. That's right, social emotional learning. It has an academics year's worth of CASEL aligned lessons that focus on students' well-being, competitive etiquette, critical thinking, and more. And if this is something you're not currently focused on with your esports program or your club, you need to be, because competitive etiquette is extremely important. And I can speak to this both as an educator and as a mom, seeing behind the scenes what's going on, seeing the conversations that are going on during games and tournaments. This is a must. This is part of coaching an esports team. And we also provide year-round professional development. This is important no matter if it's esports, no matter if it's any type of curriculum. Professional development is essential to making sure that your program is sustainable and scalable. And our professional development uses a research-based approach to teaching and learning, and we will provide year-round support to educators, coaches, and your administrators. We feel seizing the power of academic esports is critical. So let's look at an example of something that's going on in our nation right now. These are our most recent NAEP scores. These just came out the end of 2022, and we had our largest ever decline in mathematics. I wonder why this happened. Well, it could be a number of things. It could be because of the pandemic. I know it had an extreme effect on students, an extreme effect on teachers. We also know that attendance is down. That's across the board. And we also know students are disengaged. But one thing that's happening is 92% of teens are still playing video games. They're still interested, they're engaged. And if we know that's what they're engaged in, if we know that's what they're passionate about, what if we could use that passion to teach math, to raise those scores? And so we have something, this is an add-on to the USAEL, but we have something called Gamer Math. This is brand new. This is just launching, and it's already wildly successful across our nation. But we use these games that you see on the right-hand side that kids love so much. In fact, in that poll we did at the beginning, several of you said that your students are really into a lot of these games that you see here. And we use these games to teach what you see here on the left-hand side, the ratios and proportions, number system, all of these things to help raise those math scores. As we know, gamers are constantly doing math as they game anyway. So why not bring their passion into it and make it fun for them? So let's look at the next pillar, careers. What does the USAEL offer in terms of careers? First of all, we have webinars, so many webinars with industry leaders. So when you took a look at some of those large industry names that you saw at the very beginning, we get to talk with some of those industry leaders, and our students get to meet those leaders. These are top professionals in the world of esports. How exciting is that for both your esports coach as well as your students to actually see what is going on in real life, in industry? And they'll have the opportunity to do that. The USAEL also has scholarship preparation and help for students. We help provide scholarships and offer a robust resource on how to match students with diverse college opportunities. That's a big deal for students who are on their way to college. And even if they're not on their way to college, that is okay too. We help them find those careers that may fit them. Everything is CTE aligned, so career and technical education. Our academic esports courses open the door to career and technical education, STEM jobs, and state-funded CTE pathways. We also help with college scouting. So the students learn, what is esports scouting? How does a student get scouted? What are the best ways to amplify your profile, meaning a student's profile, and much more. And then internship opportunities and programming. Students learn, what is an internship? What is a paid internship versus an unpaid internship? And why is that important? What is the value of interning? And also we give them a step-by-step approach or a pathway to landing an internship. We give them all the tools from start to finish to when they graduate to make sure that they are on their way to success. And now for you esports coaches out there that are all about the game, all about the tournaments, this is definitely the fun part, but one of the three pillars and one of the pieces to esports. So let's look at what we offer. We provide many levels of gameplay on what we call America's safest competition platform. Remember that rally cry platform that I talked about earlier? Well, did you know that we operate a variety of high-profile esports leagues? In fact, we operate the NFL, the Air Force, the Department of Defense. This is another reason why our leaders at Mastery Coding found Rally Cry to be just absolutely incredible for K-12. If it's safe enough for our Department of Defense to be competing on it, we know it's safe enough for schools. So that is something that is extremely important when talking with esports coaches, IT directors, administrators. They want to know that their students are safe. Parents too. They want to know that their students can come to school and are safe on whatever platform they are competing on. So let's look at the types of competition that the USAEL offers. Inter-school competition. So let's say that you're a school. Maybe you have a very small district and there's only one middle school or one high school within your district that has an esports club or program or whatever you want to call it. Your students could compete just within that school. So students participate in games that occur inside just that one school. Or if maybe you have 2 schools or 20 schools within your district, your students could compete or participate in games that occur school versus school within that district. Or you could compete within the state. So you could compete across your own state or multiple states. We have national competitions. Students participate across the board, across the nation, as well as open and live tournaments. Students participate across the country. So very exciting. So just an example, this will look familiar to you if you're already an esports coach or already involved, but this gives you an idea of our competition structure. We offer competitive play opportunities throughout the year, open to as many students from each school as are interested in playing. So you don't have to worry about how many students are there. What if a new student comes in? It doesn't matter. We offer opportunity for everyone through our fall season and our spring season. So you can kind of see what that looks like. We're also looking at a number of national championship options for our USAEL students. So stay tuned on that. But that'll just kind of give you an idea about that competition structure. Now, as you know, esports is, it's not a one size fits all. Not everybody has a full esports program where they're doing the curriculum during the day or getting credit for the course. Some just have it after school, and that's okay. So we structure our league experience to be educational and productive, and we focus on social emotional learning for students. Our game titles offered are vary by age, but you can see over on the right-hand side that we can help you get started with these various game titles here. But it's more than just play. So an example of an after-school schedule, for instance, maybe you might do 30 minutes intro with a social emotional learning lesson, 75 minutes of gameplay, including your practice, your scrims, your matches, and then maybe 15 minutes of a recap and reflection. However you want to organize it is up to you, but this is just an example of what that could look like. There's a variety of USAEL implementation options. Schools can bring our program to a campus in a number of different ways. So you could run the program inside the bell schedule. Your students could actually earn credit and get grades for being a part of these courses. You could run it during lunch. You could do after school. You could have it before school. I remember in high school, I had a 0 period. Now I was an art student, so I was in band. And during 0 period, I would always go to the band room. But maybe you want to run something with esports before school. Or you could do a traditional sports implementation. So you could take a team with its own coach, its own league, and wrap it around your traditional sports that you already have going on in your school. But the point is, we will meet you where you are and take you to the next level. There's a variety of options for you. So the USAEL, as you saw it throughout this presentation, so the 3 pillars, the curriculum, the careers, the competition, that is our middle option, as you see here on the screen. So that's our full USAEL Pathway Esports program, and that's highly recommended. But we have some other choices for you. If you're just looking for tournament, if you're just looking for competition, you can sign up for that as well. So that'll give you the league access, unlimited participation. That'll give you the Pathway Esports student and coaches toolkit and previews of the curriculum. So you can kind of get an idea of what you could get with just doing a season pass. Of course, we would love for your students to be in the full curriculum. We feel that is definitely a necessity when it comes to a sustainable and scalable esports program in your school or in your district. And then something else that we offer, just in case you don't have esports coaches, we also offer coaches for you. So that is something, just take note, because that's something that you may want to explore in your school. You may want to talk to your administrator about it, but it at least gives you an idea of the various offerings that we have. So again, I want to come back to this first slide, because at the heart of this, again, is education. And I know that's why you're all here today. And I know that I spoke to this earlier in the webinar, but to me, this is truly the heart of everything. And knowing that I get to be a part of a company every single day that values students, that is research-based, that values administrators, that knows what's happening in our educational systems, that is doing things the right way and right by students. That's everything. And so again, we are educators coming to esports. It's not the other way around. And to me, that is extremely important. So I want to close out today by letting you know that you can obviously contact me at any time. I put my email address in there. I would love to take a deeper dive with you into the curriculum. And if you're interested in getting a demo of all the curriculum that's a part of the USAEL, please email. Please let me know, because I can get you in, get you a demo account. You can see what the Coaches Esports Toolkit looks like. You can experience it. And if you're ready to start, let me know. We'll get you started. In fact, right now, if you do sign up for the USAEL right now, you'll actually get a couple of months extended, because your school year, obviously you would want to start at the next school year, but you'll be able to get into that Esports Coaches Toolkit early and get a sense of how your program is going to work in the fall. So that's kind of a bonus right now if you are interested in getting started. In terms of resources, email me. I can send you lots of resources, anything that you may need to send to your administrators or to get a better idea of what the USAEL offers. But we are here for you, and just super excited for you to start your program or to continue your program and make it one that is enjoyable for students and that's sustainable and scalable. So thank you again for joining. I'm just real quick going to check the Q&A and see if we have anything here, which we don't. So hopefully I answered all your questions today. And if you have other questions, again, reach out anytime. Our team will get right back with you. So thank you so much.